are you going to pay for college? The cost of college education seems to go up and up every year, and college students are consumed with the daunting task of having to pay for this. How many people do you even know that do not go to college because of the high cost? Probably a lot. But you still have decided to go to college to get your degree in your chosen career because you want a better job and a better career than you currently have. After you have selected the school of your choice, you now have to figure out how you're going to pay for it. For those of us that do not come from a rich family, we have to be creative. You always want to go for grants and scholarships first because you do not have to pay them back. They're free. Another option is to look for your current employer for tuition reimbursement. After you have exhausted all of these options first and still need more money, you may have to get a student loan. So every year you complete your FAFSA application to get financial aid. The information from your FAFSA application goes to your school, the Department of Education, and depending on your state, the state grant office. You will then receive an SAR, which is a student aid report from the Department of Education. This tells you if you're eligible for federal grants and federal student loans. Federal student loans now have fixed interest rates and many options for putting your account on hold during school and after school. One myth I want to settle right now for everybody is that everybody qualifies for federal student loans. Even if your family income is too high, you may not qualify for subsidized federal loans, but everyone qualifies for unsubsidized federal student loans. But what about after all you've received all your grants, scholarships, federal student loans for the first year, and it's still not enough to pay for college? This is when students will look at private student loans. Do not get private student loans. They are not government-backed loans, which means they're not federally insured. They are similar to getting a private loan, except these have to be used for college expenses only. So go to a cheaper school. Go have time. Go get a job to help cover the cost, but do not get private student loans. Instead of blaming the lending institution, we should be complaining to our federal government about the high cost of tuition. You know, there's a saying where I work, sell your mother or your kids before getting any private student loans. Now, we don't mean this literally, but you get the idea. Federal students fresh out of high school generally do not have credit to get a private student loan, and so they will need a cosigner. If your credit history is bad or non-existent, you may be subject to higher interest rates. I see all the time students getting private student loans to pay for their living expenses, supplies, computers, and just everyday living needs. These people have the highest balances that I have ever seen. I have seen one person's account in just 2 years that was almost $300,000. This even shocked me, and I've seen a lot of huge balances. Now, I want you to listen to a video that I found online about students talking about their student loans. Hit pause here, and then go to the discussion board and click on the link that I have labeled under Watch This Video. When you finish watching, hit play again to hear my interview with a student loan specialist of private student loans.